to your Yogilates practice. We're going to start this practice from a seated position. I have a couple of props here that I might use throughout the practice, either a rolled up blanket or towel, or a yoga bolster or block. So I'm starting from a seated position, heels together, hands on the back of the thighs, brace the core, and gently C-curve the spine as you roll back to the mat. So we always start in this neutral spine position, which means the knees are bent, the feet are flat, shoulders are back, chest is open. And all I want you to start with is the breathing practice. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. You breathe in gently. Exhale fully. And I like to pierce my lips together, and when I blow the air out, I force the air out through my diaphragm. So practice that strong release. Breathing in, breathing out. One more. Long breath out. Raise the arms on your next breath in. Lower your arms on the breath out. So now connecting movement to breath. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, lower the arms down. So let's practice that again. Breathing in. Again, flushing, getting rid of that old stale air out of your body. Last one. Breathe in to raise fingertips towards the ceiling. Turn, press the palms down strong and long beside your body. Once the arms are back on the ground, keep them actively engaged on the mat. Lift the legs one at a time. Right, followed by left. Feet in flexion. There wants to be space between the knees, but bring your heels, squeeze them together. In slow motion, taking your right leg, push the right leg down towards the mat. Pull it back to where you started. Repeat on the other side. Breathing in, breathing out. So I'm starting with foot in flexion, pointing the toes as they lower the leg towards the floor, returning back to center. So toe tap and back to center. Toe tap, slow it down. Last one here. Toe tap, back to center. Squeeze the heels together again and lower the feet back towards the ground. Inhale to prepare. As you begin to breathe out, not the chin down towards the chest. Exhale as you deepen the crease or the curl over your breastbone. Inhale as you return. Start with your breath out. Inhale to lower. Exhale, deepening the curl or the crease over your breastbone. Now the Pilates curl, it's really important that you're lifting with your breath out. So exhaling as you curl over your breastbone. Inhale, return. Slide the hands along the floor. Exhale, deepen the crease, the curl over the breastbone. So pressing down through the rib cage, through the belly button, and an inch below. Now, once you've lowered your head, let's lift the legs back up to tabletop position. This is a very strong position in itself. So this time, just keeping the legs still, but adding on that Pilates curl. So once again, as you breathe out, deepening the curl, the crease over your breastbone. Inhale, returning. Exhale, deepening the crease, the curl over the breastbone. So inhale on the return. Breathe out. One more. Inhale, I lower. Exhale, curling head, neck and shoulders off the mat. Now, once you've lowered the head, lower the feet slowly. Do each movement with control. Stretch your right leg out onto a high 45. So the intention is that the knees line up, one leg straight, one leg bent. You will kick the right leg up towards the ceiling with the toes pointed, flex the foot, lower it back to that high 45. Breathe in and breathe out. So pointing the toes, straight leg lift towards the body, straight leg lower, back to that high 45. One more. Pointing and flexing. Now hold, stretch that leg, change sides. I'm going to repeat that on the left. This time the left leg extends, toes are pointed, kick the legs towards the body, flex the foot, lower away. And again, connect the rhythm of the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Breathing in. Breathing out. Control is the key. Straight legs, stretch it. Flex. Last one here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now hold it out there on that high 45 and lower the foot towards the floor. Inhale, prepare. Keep the arms active as you begin to breathe out, deepening the crease, the curl over your breastbone. Inhale on the return. Practice breathing out as you're curling head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. And the hands will just gently move along the mat, stretching and reaching the tips of the fingers to the bottom of the mat. Last one here. Exhale. Now, once I've lowered the head, you can then stretch the legs out along the floor. So both legs straight, flex the feet, then change, go from flexion to point. Flex and point. So the intention is just to get some movement into the lower half of the body here, increasing that circulation. Flex to point. Then hold in flexion, bend the right knee into the chest. That leg is in that tabletop position. Stretch that leg up in the air with the toes pointed and draw a small circle on the inside, rotate it around. And then draw a small circle on the outside and repeat that one more time. Small circle on the inside, internal rotation, and small circle, external rotation. Hold at the top, bend that knee, foot is in flexion, extend it out long. So both feet are in flexion on the floor. I draw the left leg in, press out into the toes, stretch that leg, keeping the toes pointed, draw a circle on the inside, and then slowly do an external rotation. We're going to repeat that one more time. Internal rotation, slowly to external rotation. When you come back to where we started, you can bend that knee, again, tabletop position, stretch the leg out long, both feet in flexion, and walk your feet back towards your body. So come back to neutral spine position. This is the position we started in. Inhale as you prepare. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. So I'm going to maintain my Pilates curl. Lift the legs one at a time, right followed by left. Squeeze your heels together. Separate the knees slightly, but keep the heels close. Stretch your right leg only. Return it back to tabletop position. Try your left leg now. Stretch it out. Toes are pointed. Return. Use your breath. And return. Slowly. That's the key. I want the movements to be done mindfully. So it's that concentration, that focus, that awareness of your breath. Last one here. Left leg, stretch it out to a high 45. Return it. Lower the head, neck, and shoulders, and then gently lower the feet. We're going to go a little bit stronger with this next one. Lift the legs up to tabletop position. Squeeze your heels together. You can leave your head on the mat. Keep your arms active. Again, the right leg will lead. You will stretch right leg, followed by left. Return right to left. Now the left leg will lead. Stretch your left leg out to a high 45, followed by the right. Return. So right leg leading, stretch right, left, heels together, return right to left. Repeat that on the left, stretch it out, left, right, left, right. One more round. Breathe in, stretch toes pointed. You can come back in flexion with the feet. Last one, left to right, stretch, stretch, back to tabletop. Lower the feet and come back to neutral spine position. Whew. So now this time I want to put the arms and the legs together. Inhale, prepare. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders off the mat, deepening the crease, the curl over your breastbone here. Legs to tabletop position. Then reach the hands about halfway down the shin. Now keep the heels squeezing together. You will move the arms and the legs together. Breathe in, stretch out. Exhale. Return. Try and keep the head still. So maybe focus your eye gaze to your core. exhale, come out of it. So when I straighten the legs, I squeeze the inner thighs really close. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale, the arms can reach back. Exhale, back to center. Last one. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, return. Lower the head and lower the feet. So catch your breath. Neutral spine. This one we're leaving the feet on the floor. Inhale, prepare. Lift on your breath out. Place the hands, both of them, on the back of the head. So make sure your hands go to the back of the skull, away from the neck. Take your right arm, and I want you to reach on the diagonal. Opposite arm reaches up and over and across towards the opposite thigh. So you're reaching and twisting. You're lifting as you come across. Keep the feet grounded and still. Lift over. Reach up. Coming across the middle of your body. So reaching opposites. One more round. Finish on the left. And then hug both knees in. So you can bring your knees to your chest, hug them in. You can either roll to your side or roll straight up to a seated position. So we're coming up. Scoot the hips back, stretch the legs out in front of you, spine stretch forward. So on the feet in flexion, now you might have a slight bend on the knees. If you're comfortable with your legs straight, really engage the legs here. Open the chest, look forward, extend the arms in front. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Nod the chin towards the chest, then gently breathe out as you stretch your spine in a forwards direction. Inhale again, you draw up, lengthening the spine on the breath in. Open your chest. Nod the chin down towards the chest. Deepen the curl, the crease over your breastbone as you stretch the spine forwards. Let's go for one more. Breathe in. I draw up. And then I breathe out, gently curling over the breastbone, lifting the belly, lifting the waistline. And then sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands beside your hips and scoop your hips towards your heels. Again, I've brought my heels really close to touch. Extend the arms out in front of you. And we're going to do a half roll down. So I'm going to roll down about halfway. Exhale, draw out of it. Chest open. Exhale, gently C-curve the spine as you lower. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, draw out of it. Inhale, so breathe in to lengthen the spine. Exhale, C-curve the spine gently, slowly, calmly, quietly. Half roll down, draw out of it. Sit up nice and tall, scoop your hips back. Now this time I want the legs really close. So I've super glued my heels, my knees, my inner thighs to touch. Taken the arms out nice and wide, chest open. Double pulse to the front. So we go twist, 2 to the front, and then 1, 2 to the back of the room. Rotation, twisting. Wrap your rib cage, rotate it around through the waistline. I'm taking my head with me gently, opening up the front of the body. We'll go for one more round. Try and keep the feet still. Double pulse right. Last one here. And back to center. Now, take the feet a little wider. Again, open up the front of the body. Reach the arms behind the body. Twist once. Exhale, reach on the diagonal. So we breathe in to lengthen the spine. Exhale, reach on the diagonal. So we're taking opposite hand and reach past the foot. As one arm reaches forward, the other arm extends and draws you back. So we're reaching up and over on the diagonal. Reaching, twisting, lengthening, stretching over on the diagonal. Let's practice that one more time. Breathe out as you reach forward. Inhale as you sit up tall. Last one here, stretch, reach up and over on the diagonal. Back to center. Scoop your hips back toward your heels. This time as you roll down, super slow. Take your time. You can use support, placing the hands on the back of your thighs. You'll roll all the way down. And then go for a beautiful full body stretch. Point your toes. You can reach the arms up and over to the wall behind you. And then in your own time, roll over so you lie face down. So I'm changing the scenery. I'm going to come to the top end of my mat here. So let's lay on the tummy. I'd like you to place your hands so that your right hand is on top of your left hand. Both legs are straight, toes pointed, and I'm going to rest my forehead on the back of my right hand. On your next inhale, lifting the spine, bringing your right arm with you. Keep the head and the right hand touching, slow lower. Inhale, lengthen spine, drawing forwards and gently up. Exhale to lower. Just 2 more repetitions. Breathe in. You can pause when you get to the top. Last one here. Inhale. Control the lower. Now let's change the arm lead. Left arm leads this time. Inhale, extension of your spine. Slow lower. Inhale. So extending the spine in a forwards direction. Last 2. I'm trying to pause at the top just a little longer each time I lift. Last one here. Inhale, extend that spine gently forwards and slow lower. Now if you go back to the right hand on top, now I'm bringing my feet just a little closer together. Toes are pointed. As I lift the right arm, I want you to extend and stretch the right leg off the ground. So same side of the body. Right arm with right leg. Slow return. 2 more. Last one. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Now let's try that on the other side. Left arm with left leg. Inhale. Exhale. One arm with the opposite leg. Slow return. Breathing in and breathing out. Final one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Now, keeping the head gently hovering, I'm reaching my arms back behind me. So the hands can be just slightly off the mat. The chest is already nice and open, the back of the neck long. I will roll my shoulders back, reach both arms back, hover both legs, and come up into a beautiful extension of the spine. Let's try that again. Spine, chest, heart draws forward. Then the legs reach and extend back. Give the inner thighs a little squeeze together, slow lower. One more. Inhale. Rise up. Exhale, draw it back down. Take your hands under your shoulders. Come on up onto hands and knees. We will stack the wrist under the shoulders. You will take your knees under your hips. Make sure the hands are always slightly wider than your hips and your knees. Lots of space through the front of the chest. Take your right arm with your left leg and extend it away. Now find some balance and stillness. Slow motion. Try that on the other side. I want you to lift and extend with as much control as you can. Pause. And then lower. Coming out of it just as slowly as you went into it. Opposite arm with opposite leg. Return slowly. Try that on the other side. Opposites. So I'm really mindful not only of my lift, but also of my lower. We'll go for 2 more rounds. If it's the right arm, it extends forward. It's the left leg that extends backwards. Repeat, try that on the other side. Really key here is when I release and bring the arm leg out of it, I try and bring that arm and that leg down and place it lightly on the mat without any collapse. So I've got the control of the lift, but most importantly, I've also got that control of my lower. Last one here. Inhale to extend, find some balance. Lower slowly and pause. Now we're going to try something a little different here. You've got your wrist under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. You're going to pick up your right hand and your left leg and almost take like a little crawl forwards. So you're going to crawl forwards, opposite arm, opposite leg, crawl forwards. And then you're going to come back to neutral spine. So we're going to repeat that, but we're going back this time. Right arm, left leg, go back. Left arm, right leg, go back. And then come back to neutral spine. So I've got my wrist under my shoulders. I'm going to repeat that one more time. So if you pick up your right arm with your left leg and imagine that you take a crawl forwards, change, opposite arm, opposite leg, and then come back to neutral. Repeat that going back. Right arm, left leg moves back. Left arm, right leg moves back. And then back to neutral. Yeah. Big toes together, knees apart. Sit back into child's pose. Stretch the arms out in front. Open up the hand. Soften the forehead. And rest into child's pose. So take a moment, maybe two. Breathing in. Breathing out. And gently transition. Use your hands. Walk your hands back toward your body. And I'm going to come onto the side body. So you're going to line your body up with the back edge of the mat. And bring your legs towards the front edge of the mat. So I call this the banana shape with the body. You will see that my head, neck and shoulders, my spine is at the back of the mat, but I've brought my legs to the front edge of the mat. So lean into your top arm. This forearm can rest right here in front of your belly, in front of your chest. Flex the feet to begin. The feet want to be in the same position you would be in as if you were standing on the ground. So both feet in flexion. You will take your top leg and lift it with the toes pointed, lower it. Now notice the leg on the floor is still in flexion. So I flex the top leg, point to lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. Flex to lift. Point to lower. Now keeping the toes pointed, I take that top leg and I go up and then flex lower. So point the leg as you go up and flex to lower. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Now, when you come down, keep the foot in flexion. Both legs are strong. Both feet are flexed. Top leg, draw a circle forwards. Now, keep that going. We're going to do 4 repetitions, circling it around with as much control as you can. It's a fluid movement. It's a continual flow. Now, stop at the top and reverse that circle. So let's go back. So there's 1. We're only doing 4. But the few that you do, I want you to do so slowly and with as much control that 4 is all you need. Take it back. And when we get back to where we started, push into the center of your heel, bend this knee, and bring it on the mat in front of you. Take the bottom leg now and lift it away from the ground. Now slightly lift your heel, turn the toes down, and we're going to go 8 little pulses. Lift, up and down. Keep the lift. 4, 3, 2, last one. Give it a squeeze and a hold. It's targeting the inner thigh, the inside of your leg. Stay still, see if you can lift that leg straight off the mat. And then lower. Bend both knees. Use your hands to support your body. Come on up, and we're going to repeat that on the other side. So changing the leg lead. Line your spine, your back, with the back edge of the mat. And gently bring both legs towards the front edge of the mat. So a little bit of a banana shape here. Open up the front of the body, open the chest. Both feet start in flexion. Push into the center of your heel. And we'll start by taking your top leg and flex to lift, point to lower. Flex to lift, point to lower. Breathe in, breathe out. Flex on the way up. Now, can you keep the point? It's taking the same lift and lower, but I'm pointing to go up, flexing to lower down. Point, stretch the leg, control that lower. 2 more. Breathe in. Final 1. Now, when we came back, we're going to hold this top leg straight. So there's space between the 2 legs, And we circle forwards with the foot in flexion. There's the first one. Circle forwards. Bring it down and around. Try and brush your inner thighs, your ankles past each other. Hold at the top. And can you reverse that circle? Push it back this time. Back, down, around. Push out through the center of the heel. As it rotates, strengthen and lengthen. We come back to where we started, both feet in flexion. Bend that top leg, lay it on the floor in front of you. Now target the inner thigh. So the leg is already lifted, and then just with little pulses, I lift. Lift from a lifted position. Keep that flow. In 5, 4, breath out, 3, 2, lift it up there and hold it. Give it a squeeze. Make sure we're feeling that in the inner thigh. Lower the leg, bend both knees. Again, use your arms to support your body. Come up, switch yourself around. We want to come back into neutral spine position. So this is the position we started our practice in today. Shoulders back, chest open. Now I want the chest to be nice and open, the arms lightly pressing into the mat, but keep the hands and the forearms on the mat. As you do a very gentle, slow pelvic tilt, we want to curl the spine off the mat, pressing down firmly through the feet as you come up into a bridge position. So hold and maintain that bridge. Press the feet, press the palms down. You can either close your eyes or just keep your eye gaze focusing straight up towards the ceiling. Massaging the spine, slowly come out of it. Again, it's about the control of movement into the pose and then out of it. Let's try it again. Curl. So this is a pelvic tilt, a rolling, a curling of the spine off the mat. Lifting up. Now we want the sides of the body long. We want the feet pressing firmly into the mat. Chest open. Relax the jaw. The breath still flows. We take a couple more rounds of the breath here. Before gently massaging that spine all the way down. Lucky last, the third and final one. See if you can slow it down just a little further. So I roll or curl my tailbone. Keep curling, lifting. The slower you go, the more control we get through the body, more time we have to focus the mind. The arms are still long, the palms are pressing down, the hips are lifted, the jaw is relaxed, the breath still flows. And then gently massage that spine, again as slowly as you can, returning. And once you've come into a neutral spine position once again, you can bring those knees back to your chest. Now bring them in. You can take the hands halfway down the shin or the hands on the back of your thighs. You can roll to your side body or roll yourself up to a seated position. And let's sit cross-legged. Now, if you need to, remember I started off with those props at the very beginning, you can take your rolled up blanket or your rolled up towel and sit on a little bit of support or even use your yoga bolster. So if you need some support, if you're very tight in your hip flexors, use some support. And from this position, take the tips of the fingers to the ground, so just letting my fingers rest. I have my right leg in front, left closest towards me. And I'm going to start by going to the right side. So up and over gently to one side. Inhale, exhale, extend gently up and over to the other side. So breath in, exhale, extend up and over. Inhale, last one here, extension up and over. Then change the leg lead. So if you have your right one in front, let's change, bring that closer and have the left one in front this time. We take those arms, tips of the fingers towards the floor. So we want to be opened up from shoulder to shoulder, from shoulder to hip. And this time I'm going left to right. So left side goes first, followed by right side extending up and over. Try and keep the top arm stronger and longer and the bottom arm softer. The elbow can slightly bend as it goes to the floor. So extension up, keep looking forwards, and then windmill the arms around so that you come onto your hands and your knees. Been here already today, so let's just take the wrist under the shoulders, the knees under your hips. So a little bit of movement here known as cat-cow. Lead with the heart. Shift your eye gaze gently up, then nod the chin towards the chest, exhaling as you round and scoop the belly towards the spine. Let's repeat that again. Lead with the heart as you come forward. So I'm inhaling, coming forwards, exhaling, rounding, scooping belly to spine. Last one here, breathing in. Again, this is one of those exercises you can do with your eyes closed. Focus inwards. As I come underneath this time, pause, and then gently go back into child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart, stretch the arms forward, and in the last minute, soften the elbows, soften the fingers, and just simply settle. So this is the point in the practice where we shift the focus from the Pilates practice now more into your yoga practice. And that starts first with the breathing exercise. So stay in your Pilates curl. Stay in Pilates curl for me. And I want you to focus on breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. So just rest your body here. So as you start to connect to your breath, just follow the flow of your inhale and then follow the flow of your exhale. You might choose to count the rhythm of your inhale and see if you can breathe out for the same count, the same rhythm. Keep following the flow of your breath. Maintain the connection to your breath. Turn your focus inwards and pause. Settle in, rest a while. And when you feel ready to move, gently come out of your child's pose and lay on your tummy into rebound. Now you might choose to rotate and turn your head very gently, turn your head to one side. Now take your time and rotate the head to the other side now. Just practice turning the head the other way, settling, shoulders roll forwards, relax lower jaw. Then bring the head to the center and stack your elbows under your shoulders. So bringing the arms always slightly in front of my body. So there is space between the elbows, the hands nice and open, and with the fingers and the thumbs gently open. The thumbs almost touching, not quite. So this is known as the Sphinx pose. So you're using your arms, stack that elbow joint under your shoulder joint, lift the crown of the head to the ceiling, and gently, do this very subtly, lift your eye gaze. So you're just starting to look gently upwards. The intention is to give around about 50, maybe 60% of effort at most. I want you to soften into the poses. I want you to rest into the stillness and the silence of the practice. Coming back to the rhythm, the sound, the feel of your breath, so important. And where you find yourself right now might be just all that you need in this one. But maybe I can give you an option where I draw one heel at a time towards my tailbone and rest the heels to touch. So I'm doing a very gentle curl, heels towards the back of the body. And if this feels too much, then you would leave the feet and place them back down onto the floor. Take what you need. On that Richter scale between too little and too much is a space of just enough. And then lower one leg at a time back to the floor and do that in slow motion. Take a moment or two to settle in here. Once again, remind yourself to just gently lift your eye gaze. And then as you empty out your lungs, breathe out, slowly come out of it. And you might take your head this time and rest it in the middle. And as you come out of the pose, you might need a minute or more. You might need just a round or two of your breath. You get to decide. And when you feel ready to move, use the hands, press yourself up and come up to a seated position. Now this time I'd like you to come to a seated position, but this time the right leg bends in front and the left one bends behind you. And so the front leg is externally rotated and the back leg here is internally rotated. Now, to begin with, the legs might feel like they want to be really close, but if you have space through your hips, I want you to open the legs and separate them. You will then twist and turn your body towards the right leg and lean over to that side, either coming down onto your forearms, or you could make fists and rest one knuckle on top of the other and rest your forehead on your knuckles, or even extend the arms out so the forehead comes down towards the ground. Once again, you will take as much as you need without giving too much. If we push and force ourselves into these yoga poses, that in itself can become a distraction. You want to feel something, but not too much, so that you're able to still focus inwards, to connect to the breath, and to connect, most importantly, to the stillness and the silence in the practice. This gentle forward flexion allows us to tap inwards. As we're targeting the area around the hips and the top of your thighs, it really does help us, this pose, to connect us to our emotional center, a space of sensitivity. So if nothing else, give yourself permission to feel in this pose. And then pressing the hands lightly into the ground, make your way up and just pause for a moment. The legs have been in this shape, in this position for a few moments. Place your right hand down and lean to the right as you externally rotate that back leg from the back to the front, and we will change position. So now the left leg is in front, the right leg behind. So you'll notice there I was very close. What I did is I tried to open and separate. So creating lots of space from this knee to this knee. Open it up, twist to the left, and lean over and across. I'm doing a little rotation, a little gentle forward flexion, coming into compression of the front leg and moving away from that back thigh. So opening up through that hip flexor, getting into the quad muscle, big powerhouse of the body, and tapping you into the energy that sits around the hips and the pelvis, often referred to in yoga as our emotional center of our being. So whatever rises up for you is meant for you. Maybe you feel something. Maybe you feel nothing at all. Whatever you feel, can you just let it be? And as you just come into the last couple of rounds of your breath on this side, use the energy of your next inhale. Breathe in as you come up and out of it. And again, you'll notice I've still got that left leg in front, the right one behind. So again, I'll place the left hand down and lean to the left as I bring that right leg. And you can just sit cross-legged again for a moment and just notice how different that might feel from the first few times you crossed your legs in this practice here today. If it feels just the same, it might feel completely different, whatever it feels like. Again, no judgment around what you feel, just let it be. And then slowly release. This time we're rebounding, laying on the back. And if you have a cushion or maybe a yoga bolster, you could take that under the back of the knees. So that as I roll down, and again, I'm going to use support, hands on the back of my thighs, C-curve the spine lower. As you come down, I can let the legs just soften over this bolster. So big sigh, big release. Let the feet fall out, let the knees soften, rotate the palms up, relax your lower jaw. Allow yourself almost to feel as though you're being held and being supported in this position. And then you can give yourself permission to just let go and be held. Now, when you feel ready to move, and again, if you choose to take another couple of rounds of your breath here, listen to your body, move at your own pace, walk the feet back towards your body. Now the feet are flat, and I might even keep that bolster or that cushion close by and use it for some support in this next one. Draw the right leg in and give it some support as it draws towards your body. Foot in gentle flexion. You will then take the outer edge of your right foot and place that outside edge and the ankle joint rested on the meaty, muscly part of your left thigh. So this right knee will externally rotate. Just let it go where it needs to be. Again, no force, no pushing. Listen to your body. Now there's three different options. So this first option, this might be just where you need to be. Left foot grounded. You could lift the left foot and place it onto that bolster that's there beneath you. You could use a cushion or a block. And as the legs start to come a little close towards the body, this might get a little bit more intense in the front or the outside or the back of your hips and pelvis. So take just enough, but not too much. Another option is to reach the hands between the legs and either wrap the hands, you've got my hands here right around the front of my shin, but you could take the hands on the back of the thigh. Again, take what you need. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's more important how it feels, and allow yourself to connect. And we do that in yoga practice by first connecting to the breath. The breath connects us to the body. And then we settle in. We observe, we notice, we feel, we look, we listen. It's all about connecting to the body right now. And there might be something to feel or nothing to feel. Sometimes all that's required is just your presence in the practice. Being present right here, right now, with your breath might be just enough. Now, if I come out of it as slowly as I went into it, I might release back onto that prop and that support, and then eventually, slowly, taking the foot back to the floor, and then releasing both feet to the floor. So neutral spine, we've been here a few times in the practice, yet let yourself land in this space, and take your left leg and draw it in. I will gently flex. It takes an awareness and a connection to flex that left foot, and then rotating and placing the outer edge of my left foot onto the meaty, muscly part of my right thigh, and land here. Now, if I was to rush into the next phase, I might miss so much. It's important that we slow down, give ourselves time to breathe and to connect, before lifting my right foot and maybe placing it up on that prop again. And if I pause and take maybe a couple of rounds of my breath, I might observe and notice that this for me today might be just where I need to be. And alternatively, using the arms, reaching, and I can take the hands either on the front of the shin or the back of the thigh. And just checking in that I'm also trying to let my head soften back into the mat and opening up the front of the chest so the shoulders are still grounded as well. So I'm maintaining through the upper half of the body, neutral spine. You might notice this more into the front or the back of the hip flexor. Doesn't matter where you feel it really. And again, you might feel nothing at all. I might just take again a couple more rounds of my breath. And coming out of it as slowly as I went into it. So for me, that's placing that foot back onto the prop, onto a bolster or a block, and then eventually back to the ground, and both feet landing on the mat this time. Now, if you keep the feet where they are, feet flat, knees bent, but I'm very slowly going to take the feet slightly wider than the hips and let the knees just touch together. So the knees are touching, the feet wider than your hips, shoulders back, chest open, relax down through your lower jaw. Breathing in and breathe out. Then take your time to wiggle your feet back to center. This time, bringing the feet, the knees, the inner thighs as close together as you can. So the legs have almost become one. I've taken my arms and extended them just a little wider. So maybe the wrists, the hands are just off the mat. Inner thighs squeeze together. Keep the head in center and drift both legs over and across gently to one side. And then maybe rotate the head in the opposite direction. So coming into a beautiful supine twist, laying on the mat, twisting, rotating. And with this one, focusing on that gentle, calming breath out. So on the breath in, you breathe just as you would normally breathe in. And then focusing more on your breath out as that breath leaves your body, floats away from you and out of the room. And then rotate the head back to center first. Squeeze your inner thighs to touch. Again, the legs become one unit. Then both the legs float back to center, land in the middle, because for now, in this moment, this is enough. This is just where we need to be. Big toes, knees, inner thighs touching. Let's take the legs to the other side, rotate. Once the legs have landed, then rotate the head in the opposite direction. I'm still keeping my feet stacked in this position, one foot resting on top of the other. So the soles of the feet have come away from the ground and you're resting on the outer edge of one foot. And focus on your breath out. As we practice letting go, as we surrender, and we release with our exhale. And then the head will gently come back to center first. Connect those inner thighs, the knees gently together. Inhale, floating the legs back to center. Pause. Settle and slide the legs away from you. Now we have one more asana to practice, known as Savasana. You can take the bolster, a cushion, a blanket under the back of the knees. You could put a blanket over your body. Let the feet naturally fall out. Rotate the palms up. So take a few moments to settle. So you might just shuffle the body around. Find a position you can rest into. Close your eyes. Once again, turn your focus inwards. Pause. I will hold space for you in the stillness and the silence of the practice now. When you feel ready to move, just move your fingers maybe, or maybe even gently just your toes. Walk the feet back towards the body. And just simply roll over onto side body, come into fetal position. Tuck your body into a tight little ball shape. Pressing the hands into the floor to give you a little bit of an assist to come up. And once again, we're coming back to a seated cross-legged position. You could kneel if you prefer. And let's just land here. Drop your shoulders, bringing the hands into heart prayer position. All that's left to do is to bring this practice to a close here today. And I do that by raising the hands, bowing my head to the earth and saying to you, Namaste. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed that.